UFC Noche Diego Lopes versus Jean Silva just ended, and this is going to be my full card post-fight. We are going to go through every single fight on the card, including that massive fight in the co-main event, David Martinez versus Rafa. I mean, this Noche card was just stacked from top to bottom. Let's be real. This was a one-fight card, okay? The fights weren't horrible. There were some fun fights. This was a one-fight card. Everything else felt soulless except Diego Lopes versus Jean Silva. But we're going to break down every fight. Then I'm going to do a Canelo versus Crawford stream backed by popular demand. Let's jump into it. Starting off with the first fight of the night. We have Rodrigo Sezinando versus Danil Donchenko. Danil Donchenko, first round KO. Competitive fight, back and forth. Both guys landing shots. Donchenko landed a nasty elbow, multiple nasty standing elbows. Cut him open like mid-round to the point Kerry Hatley had to break it, call the doctor in, take a look at his cut. And pretty much, I mean, it was back and forth up until Donchenko really cracked him with a right hand and then basically melted him. Landed nasty ground and pound, brutal ground and pound. Referee finally jumps in. Donchenko was winning up until that point, but Sezinando had some moments, was landing some good shots of his own. At one point had Donchenko shooting a takedown, kind of a desperation takedown because he was losing on the feet. But for the most part, it was that standing elbow over and over and over again. He was landing the more powerful shots. He gets a first round TKO. Great win from Donchenko. Next fight on the card. Why is this the wrong name, or does she change her name? We have Montserrat Rendon versus Alice Pereira. Montserrat Rendon came in and said, I'll be damned if I get whooped by a 19-year-old. She said, I'll be damned if I get whooped by a 19-year-old. Alice Pereira. According to Dominic Cruz, that is Alex Pereira's sister. But it's not. Dominic Cruz, do your homework, you bitch. Okay? Anyway, Montserrat Rendon said, I'll be damned if I let a 19-year-old whoop up on me. And she whooped up on Alice Pereira. Next fight on the card, we have Alessandro Costa versus Alden Coria. I was dead wrong on this one. Coria whooped up on him a bit. I mean, first round, competitive, but Coria won. Second round, Costa pulled guard and basically laid on his back for a while and got out damaged in that round, lost the second round. And then in between rounds, he said something was wrong with his foot. The UFC was confused because they were talking about the other foot that had like a cut on it, but supposedly there was something wrong with his foot. His corner had to convince him to come out in the third round. He tried to fight for like a minute or so. I don't even remember. Yeah, it was like a minute, like 40. It wasn't even that long. I mean, honestly, he tried to fight for about 30 seconds and then basically curled up into a ball in the corner and quit. Cody bummed his all. Now, I don't know the extent of the injury, but he should have never came out in the third round. Got hurt. Not even, I mean, he was hurt, but he really wasn't. Like, he was just, you could tell he got clipped with a shot, and he's like, I don't want to take any more damage because my foot hurts bad. And even his corner threw in the towel as he's getting melted up against the fence, which I think the corners need to do a better job of throwing in the towels when the guy has no possibility of winning. But they should have never even convinced him to go back out there because he really looked bad going out there and basically quitting because of the foot injury. Coria gets it done. His striking looked good, had nasty leg kicks, had decent grappling. This was kind of an unexpected performance. Costa, maybe a lot of people had him overrated. I feel like most people were probably picking Costa, but Coria gets it done. Next fight on the card, we have Zachary Reese versus Cedriquez Dumas. Accidental groin shot, 51-second stoppage. Reese lands a groin kick. It landed on the cup, clear as day. I swear, I think Dumas was faking. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe he'll have some catastrophic injury, and maybe he won't be able to have children or any more children if he has any. I'm not buying it, man. I'm not when a guy acts like he's in agony. Don't get me wrong, nut shots hurt. He acts like he's in agony. He wants them to stop it before they even 5 minutes. They're like, well, let's give you time to try to recover. He's like, oh, screaming at the top of his lungs. And then the second the ref calls it out, he's like talking to Zachary Reese and like, say, oh, no big deal, dude. And supposedly they had to stretcher him out of the cage. If he didn't lose a ball, if there's not some type of surgery or something necessary, I don't buy it. I think Dumas, and this is what's really going to tell me if he was faking or not, I wonder if he took that foul and said, you know what, I'm going to leave with my show money. I'm going to take zero damage. I have some money in my bank account now, and I'm going to ask the UFC to give me a quick turnaround so I can double dip. So if Dumas returns in under 3 months, I'm calling horseshit. So we really didn't get anything out of this fight. There was nothing of note other than Dumas getting kicked in the nuts, which he did. But I just don't understand how it was that devastating. They were like, try to stand up after 4 minutes. He's like, I can't even stand up, and screaming in agony. It felt like a performance to me. It really felt like a performance to me. I'm usually good at reading these things. Maybe I'm dead wrong. Maybe his nuts got tangled up or something. I don't know. But for me, it reeked of a performance. And then he's going to ask for a quick turnaround. That way he can double dip. Zachary Reese, he got Batista bombed by Cody Bumdage, and now he's going to a no contest with Dumas. Complete and utter embarrassment, but I believe Dumas was faking, but maybe he wasn't. Next fight on the card, we have Jesus Aguilar versus Luis Gurule. Fun fight, competitive fight, back and forth fight. Aguilar basically won the first and third round, and honestly, you could give Aguilar all 3 rounds. It was close. First round, Aguilar clearly won, was just more aggressive, landing more shots, throwing knees to the body, landing decent shots as well. Gurule kind of playing it safe, slow, and it was like, looked like Gurule was like hoping Aguilar would get tired. Second round, I think Aguilar kind of took the round off, but it was still like a 50-50 round. I scored it for Gurule in the second round, and then the third round was more similar to the first, where it was close, but I thought Aguilar probably won, was landing the better shots, and I thought it could have went either way. But Aguilar really put his foot on the gas in like the last minute and landed the better shots. And I thought he won. I mean, there's not really much to say. It was primarily striking. There was a couple moments. I think there was a moment. I can't remember. Was it in this fight or not? I don't know if I don't think it was in this fight. But there was a couple moments where there were some grappling exchanges. Gurule, maybe took him down for a second. And Aguilar looked for a guillotine. I can't remember exactly what happened in this fight. I don't know why. I'm drawing a blank right now. But basically, Aguilar outstruck him, and Gurule banked on him slowing down, and he didn't slow down. And when Gurule needed to put his foot on the gas in the third round, he didn't. And Jesus Aguilar gets it done. Next fight on the card, Tatiana Suarez versus Amanda Lemos. I've said it many times, and I will say it again. Tatiana Suarez is straight up trash. She wins via unanimous decision. This was an embarrassing, pathetic performance from Tatiana Suarez. Literally, all she did was push Lemos against the fence. That was basically it. And then late Suarez gassed after not doing nothing the entire fight. She got to take down the first round, but it was a majority clinch. Same for the second round, majority clinch. Third round, clinching nonstop, shooting ugly takedowns, getting stuffed though. And then Lemos starts tagging her. And then at one point, Suarez tries to pull a guillotine, and Lemos ends up on top, just raining down ground and pound right at the end, smashing her. And that was before that, she was smashing her on the feet as well. So I had Lemos winning the third round. Tatiana Suarez lost this fight. If you saw this fight on the streets, you'd be like, oh, Lemos whooped her ass. If you saw this fight in school, everyone would be going around the hallway saying Lemos won. Tatiana Suarez is a fucking scrub, and I'm tired of people trying to convince me she's good because, she wrestled in college, allegedly. She's a great wrestler. She's dog shit. She's dog shit, and Lemos isn't even that good. Lemos is decent. But, Suarez, all she did was literally hug her against the fence. It's crazy. If she got her down and imposed her will and did some okay ground and pound, fair enough. If you can't get off your back, that's your problem. But to just push someone against the fence and just hold them there against the fence, doing no damage, I actually think this is one of those fights where the referee should have interjected. So Suarez gets it done. What does it really mean? They're probably going to try to shoehorn her back into the title picture, considering Weili left. But I'm tired of people acting like Suarez is good. She's absolutely trash. She's a trash can. I never want to see her fight again. Next fight on the card, we have Claudio Puelles versus Joaquim Silva. Joaquim Silva got the split decision. I thought Puelles won. I thought he won. He dominated the first round with the grappling, couldn't find a sub, did a little bit of damage. Second round, Silva was able to land the better shots and not really get controlled as much. Third round, Puelles is winning the entire round, outstriking him, outgrappling him, and lands I think it was a right hand, and hurts Joaquim Silva with a minute and a half. And I'm like, okay, Puelles is a lock right now. He's won the entire round. He's rocked him on the feet now. And there's no way at this point Silva can come back and win. Well, Puelles, with his horrible body language, basically lost in the fight. He got tired late, shooting sloppy takedowns. He gets hurt within the last 10 seconds of the third round, drops to the ground just trying to survive, and Joaquim Silva gets off some decent ground and pound. And basically, that loses him the fight. That last 10 seconds loses him the fight. Somehow I have a hair in my mouth right now. I don't know where it's coming from right now. But Yeah, I mean, that's it. It's Claudio Puelles' body language, late third round, lost him the fight. Now, I believe, considering Puelles rocked him, stung him, and then also out-grappled him and kind of smudged him against the fence a bit and was out-striking him prior to that one big shot, I thought Puelles should have still won. So I thought it was 29-28 Puelles. I don't think it was the worst robbery, but Puelles, man, the body language is horrible. Once he starts to get tired, he looks like shit and looks like he wants to quit. So I think that really had a lot to do with the decision as well, his body language overall. Next fight on the card, we have Jose Daniel Medina versus Dusko Todorović. Todorović is winning, busting him up in the clinch, body lock, trip, takedown, boom, immediately throws the hooks in and locks a rear naked choke up. Easy win for Dusko Todorović. What is there to say? Jose Daniel Medina got a contract off of losing on Dana White's Contender Series. How can you expect him to win a fight? Dusko Todorović gets it done, outstrikes him, outgrapples him, beats him up, and subs him. What do you want me to say about this fight? By the way, the UFC and Dana White really shit the bed with this Noche card solely because they did not want to compete with Canelo Crawford. Talk about a complete and utter embarrassment. Let me actually look where Canelo Crawford is right now. Okay, so we still got one more. We got the co-main event on that before because I'm going to stream the main event. If you guys care to join me, I might be live while you're watching this post-fight. Anyway, next fight on the card. The first fight on the main card, we have Santiago Luna versus Quang Lee. Great fight. This was a really solid fight. Lee is just touching him up early. I think the first shot was a nasty left hook from Lee, and then Lee's just tagging him, landed like a head kick. It was easy work. And then Luna shot a takedown because he's getting tagged so badly on the feet, but Lee scrambled right back up. And I'm like, wait a second right now. Is Quang Lee really about to embarrass this dude? That's what it felt like watching in real time. But then Luna starts pushing the pace, pressuring him, lands a left hand, drops him. Lee gets back up, lands another left hand, and then swarms him up against the fence and lands a nasty hammer fist that slumps him out cold. Santiago Luna, incredible comeback for a fight that only lasted 2 minutes and 48 seconds. I mean, he was getting banged on by Quang Lee, getting touched up, getting his head snapped back, eating some damage. And it wasn't looking that good. And the fact that he got the takedown and Lee scrambled right back up, I'm like, damn, is Luna about to lose this fight? But nope, he comes back and wins. It was a nasty finish. Great win from Santiago Luna. Next fight on the card, we have Alexander Hernandez versus Diego Ferreira. Diego Ferreira, second round KO. What's there to say about this? To be honest, the entirety of the fight was Diego Ferreira moving forward, pressuring, and it was Hernandez running for his fucking life the entire fight. Ferreira was landing good leg kicks, good body kicks. Alex landed some good shots, okay shots in the first round as well, but just circling nonstop, trying to counter. Same thing for the second round. And then in the second round, and what's crazy is it was 4 minutes into the second round, which is insane. That's absolutely insane. So towards the end of the second round, I'm saying that because it was the end of the first round where he KO'd Chase Hooper. But yeah, lands a nasty right hand, puts Diego Ferreira down, and brutal ground and pound. Ugly finish. I mean, his head was getting bounced off the mat and the referee was not stepping in. I can't remember the referee for this fight. I'm trying to think, but for some reason it escapes me. But yeah, I'm going to be honest, Hernandez and Ferreira actually look like shit in this fight. I know people are like, oh, Hernandez on a crazy win streak, and I KO'd Chase Hooper and Diego Ferreira back-to-back. And both those guys are pretty good. Running the entire fight and then finding one shot, I get it's kind of impressive, but at the same time, I just think when you're running from Diego Ferreira, striking is kind of insane, and getting out kickboxed by Diego Ferreira, regardless, even though you got the finish, it is what it is. I get it, but either way, Hernandez does it again, and I'm glad I switched my pick because I would have been pissed about this one if I wouldn't have picked Alexander Hernandez, and then this would have happened. Hernandez gets it done. I'm wondering if they're going to give him a step up in opposition now because I'm not picking him against anyone better than Diego Ferreira. I picked him now. I'm not picking him against any step up in competition after this. He gets a brutal KO in the second round over Diego Ferreira. Next fight on the card, we have Kelvin Gastelum versus Dustin Stoltzfus. Stoltzfus early smashing the legs and body of Kelvin Gastelum. Gastelum was landing a couple left hands. Stoltzfus got a takedown in the first round, which is absolutely crazy. And then he looked for a guillotine. Then he took the back, looked for the rear naked choke, and Gastelum scrambled up. Stoltzfus clearly won the first round. Second round, Gastelum just basically landed the left hand over and over and over again. Stumbled him. At one point, Gastelum looked for a guillotine and ended up on bottom. It was towards the end of the round. And I think it was like Gastelum rocked him, kind of rushed in. Stoltzfus shot in on like a sloppy takedown. Gastelum went for a sloppy guillotine and ended up on bottom. And then he scrambled to like his knees. And then the end of the round was Stoltzfus landing like Donkey Kong punches simultaneously, basically, on Kelvin Gastelum in a fetal position. And I thought maybe the judges could mess it up, but they didn't. Gastelum won the second round. And then the third round, Stoltzfus was being a little bit more active in the second round, but shooting ugly takedowns and getting stuffed. He was looking decent early, though. And I thought maybe there's a chance he wins this third round. But Kelvin Gastelum landed the better shots. He landed the bigger shots. He was snapping his head back with the left hand. There was one shot where he landed. It was a nasty left hand, and then Stoltzfus like grabbed his neck, Diego Lopes style. And then Gastelum didn't even go after him. Like, what are you doing? This dude, there's something obviously. You caught him with a punch. I don't know if it caught him on the neck or whatever. But Gastelum waited like 20 seconds and then finally went after him. But I do believe in like the last minute, Gastelum landed a couple good power shots. And that's really what sealed the third round for Gastelum. But Gastelum missed weight. What's there to say? I mean, it was an embarrassing performance too. Dustin Stoltzfus is not good. Gastelum came in overweight, and he still like didn't even have an impressive performance. And Stoltzfus is literally bottom of the food chain. So I don't know where Gastelum goes from here. I'm surprised. I would have liked a shot. I would have liked a camera shot of him in his locker room. I bet you there was Taco Bell. I'm betting he was like Tai Tuivasa having Taco Bell in his locker room. I don't even know how one acquires this shape right here. It's like fit but fat at the same time. It's like somehow he had a pot belly, but they like sandwich it down to kind of being fit. I don't even know how that's possible. And supposedly he still wants to fight at welterweight at some point. He can't even make middleweight. So this performance means absolutely nothing. And honestly, the way Gastelum looked, I don't know if he didn't take the fight seriously. He said he took it on short notice. It is what it is. He accepted the fight. But also, it's kind of a referendum on the UFC offering fights on short notice to fill out cards that they didn't fill out when they could have filled it out months ago because they knew it was happening. It's a fly-by-night company. But either way, you're accepting the fight. This is a bad look. You give up part of your purse to Stoltzfus, and you look like shit doing it against a lower-level fighter. I think it's almost time for Gastelum to retire. Anyway, up the card. We have Rafa Garcia versus Jarrett Gordon. Jarrett Gordon gets sparked badly in the third round. Look, I picked Jarrett Gordon, but you can't count that pick against me. I don't think you can count that pick against me because I switched my pick the second I saw that knee brace. The second I saw that knee brace, I said I'm picking Rafa Garcia. Go watch my stream if you don't believe me. I just had a hiccup there. Go watch my stream if you don't believe me. Because the second I saw that knee brace, but listen, Jarrett Gordon actually did decent. Garcia took the first round, was landing the better shots, cracking Gordon with a right hand, like caught a kick, cracked him with a right hand. Gordon had some moments, started to pick up a little bit of steam towards the end of the first round. Second round, Gordon started styling with him, landing good shots. Jarrett rocked him at one point, went for a takedown. Afterwards, Rafa Garcia ended up DDTing him, looking for a guillotine. And then Gordon, it was a tight guillotine, so Gordon gave up mount, but then it was able to scramble back up and was winning on the feet again. Garcia landed a couple good elbows in that second round, cutting up open Jarrett Gordon, but I still thought second round was Jarrett Gordon's. And then the third round, Garcia was able to finish it. I mean, it was a nasty, nasty finish. I'm trying to remember exactly. I think he dropped him with a right hand and then just proceeds to just smash. He dropped him with a right hand, started smashing him on the ground, then went for a rear naked choke with no hooks in. Jarrett Gordon went to his back. And then he started smashing him with elbows. Should have been stopped. It was a late stoppage in this one. There wasn't the greatest reffing tonight at all. Should have been stopped a bit sooner, but gets the TKO in the third round over Jarrett Gordon, who's 40. What is he? 40 years old. I just looked this up, and for some reason, now he's 37. Damn near 40 years old, taking that type of damage. But allegedly, Bilal tweeted out that Jarrett Gordon apparently got hit by a car a couple days ago and still decided to fight. That shows the desperation these guys have for money, which it's sad. The UFC there should be some type of insurance or security to pay these guys if they have something like that happen to them on fight night or around fight night. But either way, knee brace Jarrett Gordon loses via third round TKO and takes a decent amount of damage. Next fight on the card, co-main event, Rob Font versus David Martinez. Martinez looked good. Basically, the entire fight was Martinez kicking at range, blasting kicks, whether they were blocked or not. And it was Rob Font like rushing in, kind of sloppily, trying to box, landing some, but really not doing any significant damage. Rob Font shot a takedown in the first round. Martinez used it to end up on top, kind of reversed it, ended up on top, then they both scrambled back up. I honestly thought there was a world where you could score it for Font. I thought the first round was pretty close and maybe you could give it to Font, but it was Martinez. In the second round, I thought Font won the second round. In the second round, they were both landing, but Font got cracked and kind of hurt a little bit in the second round. But Font won the majority of it before that. And then in the first round, it was something similar. Like Martinez was winning the majority of it, but Font cracked him with a shot and kind of stumbled him a bit. But either way, it was a razor close fight. And then the third round, Font was landing jabs and Martinez was just kicking the calf over and over and over again. And then late in the round, Font got tagged badly and hurt badly and goes to the ground. And Martinez starts pounding on him. And Big Dan Murgliata didn't realize the bell went off. And I know people are going to say, well, he couldn't hear it. The crowd was going crazy and wild. Martinez clearly won the third round. How is Dan not looking at the clock too? When you hear that clapper for 10 seconds, in your head, there should be a 10-second clock going. You should be looking. You should be listening for cues. Martinez probably got off an extra 10 seconds of ground and pound because Big Dan didn't stop the fight. Now, in this case, I don't think it mattered that much because I think Martinez took the third round no matter what. But imagine a scenario where it came down to the third round and the third round was razor close and Martinez gets that extra 10 seconds of damage. You can't tell the judges, oh, well, forget about that damage. They've already seen it. So I know it doesn't matter in this case, but it's one of those things, oh, we don't care. But in reality, Big Dan needs to get his shit together. He should have been looking at the clock. There's absolutely no way almost damn near 10 seconds should go by and you don't realize the round's over. They're honking the horn twice. Again, I understand he couldn't hear it, crowd. There's no explanation for that. It is absolutely unacceptable for Big Dan to fuck up that badly. But David Martinez now a top 10 ranked bantamweight, most likely. He gets it done over Rob Font via decision. Next fight on the card, the main event. We have Diego Lopes versus Jean Silva. Great fight. Both kind of tentative early. Diego Lopes chopping at the legs, Silva chopping at the legs. And then Silva tries to throw a spinning back kick to the body, gets taken down, slammed on his neck. Immediately Lopes takes the back, gets into full mount, starts smashing him from top with elbows and 12-6 elbows, and then flatten him out, and then backed him out, and flatten him out, landing nasty shots, ground and pound. Some of it was to the back of the head. There were some 12-6 elbows that were clearly to the back of the head on the ground. Jean Silva eventually bucks up, gets an arm underneath the leg, and scrambles out, ends up on top of Diego, but backs out and waves him back up. Then they go back to striking a bit. First round, Silva landed some shots towards the end, so I think it was probably a 10-9 Lopes. If you gave it a 10-8, I would understand. I don't think that's egregious to give a 10-8 round for Diego Lopes. Second round, Jean Silva starts styling on him, landing big shots, busting him up, clearly winning, landing big shots repeatedly. Diego Lopes' chin is unbelievable. There was a right hand, like maybe a minute and a half into the second round, that I think would have put a lot of dudes out. And Lopes just ate it. And then Silva really started to vibe a bit and start feeling himself and landing combinations. And then at one point, Diego Lopes got a takedown and there was a crazy scramble. And Diego Lopes ended up in side control. But then Jean Silva ended up scrambling right back up and went right back on the attack and started landing again and got super aggressive and started walking him down. And while this is all going on throughout the entire second round, Silva keeps telegraphing spins and repeatedly throwing spins, whether it be spinning elbows, spinning kicks, and it keeps costing him because I actually think, I think the takedown in the second round, I think he overextended on a big, like a hook, and that's how he ended up getting taken down in the second. But either way, it was overextending or spinning that was getting him in bad positions. But then Jean Silva starts tagging him up, getting super confident, tries to walk down Lopes, who's eating these shots. Lopes clips him with a spinning back elbow with like 10 seconds left in the second round, puts him down badly, starts throwing ground and pound. Silva's kind of blocking a decent, trying to scramble a little bit, and then the referee jumps in. I don't think it was a horrible stoppage. I think it was a tad early. And also, there was some back of the head shots. We didn't get a good camera angle, but the last few shots were all to the back of the head. Like, you can see like 3 or 4 of them right before the stoppage were to the back of the head. And I know people are going to be like, Joey Cope. I'm actually happy Diego won, because I didn't want Jean Silva to jump over the uncrowned champion Movsar Evloev. I didn't want to see that happen. So it's not about that. I think if anything, I just kind of wanted to see this fight go longer. But Either way, forget about the back of the head shots for a second. I just wanted to mention that because I saw that in real time, and I'm giving you my reaction and breakdown. I think the elbow, it was over anyway. I think the elbow put Jean Silva away. Jean Silva was rocked badly even after the referee jumped in, and I think Diego Lopes would have found a finish regardless of the legality of those ground and pound shots. And I'll tell you this. I know it's fun, the fighting turds. I was calling them the fighting turds last week. And it is crazy, man. Ian Machado Gary whoops on Carlos Prates. Diego Lopes whoops up on Jean Silva. Rufy gets exposed by BSD, Benoit Saint-Denis. Then you have Caio Borralho losing to Nasruddin Imavov last week. So all these undefeated fighting nerds now lost their records. They were overhyped. I think Jean Silva is a textbook case of buying into your own hype. I think he bought into his own hype a bit. He's like, man, I got aura, man. And he was clip farming in the main event. I think he thought he could get Diego Lopes out of there. And I think he was fishing for a highlight reel finish, and he couldn't find it. And he was still trying to hunt for it, and he was landing, and he was tagging him, and he was landing good shots, and he landed like a nasty body kick right before he got finished. And he walked into that spinning elbow. And that really is what did him in. I mean, it was a filthy spinning elbow right to the temple, put him down badly. And then Diego Lopes went out there and finished him with brutal ground and pound. I will say this, though, okay? As dumb as Silva is for getting way over aggressive and trying to clip farm in a main event, I think people are getting a little bit crazy with like the fraud check, this and that. Rufy, sure, have your fun. Jean Silva, I actually think is good. Caio Borralho, I actually think is good. Even Prates, I think, is decent. The only one I think you can say about is Rufy, whatever the hell his name is. But Diego Lopes in this post-fight, which I get this is a good win, is like, yeah, if I have to fight one more time, I will. Like, fight one more time for what? Like you're not even close to a title shot at all. But I don't want to sit here and like people are going to think I'm shitting on Diego Lopes. Diego Lopes is no doubt a top-tier guy. But let's stop acting like this win over Jean Silva is so incredible it should get him a title shot. And I don't know that anybody is, but I could feel like because Lopes is a bit of an industry plant for Mexico, even though he's Brazilian, could kind of be that. But Lopes gets it done. Lopes dealt with a dangerous Jean Silva. And I think discrediting Jean Silva, or not discrediting because he hasn't really done much, but downplaying how good Silva is on the feet kind of discredits Lopes' win here. And I think Lopes did an incredible job. He timed the takedown. He had much better fight IQ. By the way, when they started, Diego Lopes was much bigger. Much bigger. Jean Silva's fight IQ was horrible. And he went out there and he paid for it against a guy like Lopes who has nasty grappling and nasty power and nasty finishing ability as well. So good win from Diego Lopes. But I'll tell you this right now. Movsar Evloev smokes both these guys. Movsar smokes Lopes. He already has. Okay, regardless, people want to give him a participation trophy. And Movsar eats Jean Silva badly. Badly. And by the way, Movsar, hot take, also knocks out Volkanovski. So I hope that we get to see that at some point. Movsar for a title. Because he really is the uncrowned featherweight champion. But honestly, I wouldn't mind Lerone Murphy getting the title shot. I won't be happy with it, but I wouldn't mind it. And then we could potentially get Lerone Murphy versus Movsar undefeated for the featherweight title. I think would be incredible. But if Lopes somehow gets another title shot over Movsar, I'll be absolutely disgusted with the sport. But it wouldn't surprise me because nowadays that's what Dana White in the UFC likes to do. Jean Silva gets exposed a bit. I still think he's a top guy, or at least a top 15 guy. He just made some crucial mistakes in this fight that he ended up paying for. Because he started buying his own hype. These fighting nerds, I'm telling you, they started buying their own hype. And Jean Silva was one of the guys that everyone was acting like was unbeatable. I know I picked him, but I didn't think he was this unbeatable god. And I think he ended up paying for it in this fight. I can't wait to see where he goes from here. Maybe he can rematch Bryce Mitchell. People can pick Bryce again. But yeah, I don't know what happens from here. I wouldn't mind seeing Diego versus Yair Rodriguez next. I think Diego beats Yair Rodriguez. I wouldn't mind to see that. But yeah, that's it. There you go. There's a UFC Noche recap. Overall, this card was kind of disappointing. It was a one-fight card. Everything else, I mean, look at this. Co-main event, Rob Font, David Martinez. I don't ever say this, but like, has there ever been less aura in a co-main event? Anyway, boys, I'm going to do my Canelo versus Crawford stream. Let me actually make sure. Let me see where that's at. Let me refresh Tapology here. Yeah, the second fight isn't, the co-main event isn't even over yet. So thank you guys for watching. I'm going to jump over to that stream. I appreciate every single one of you. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.